What's the most fucked up thing that happened at your school?
When I was in 6th grade, our English teacher, her husband, and their 2 daughters, one in 2nd grade and one in my class, all died in a house fire. We lived in a secluded rural area in the South, US, where neighbors weren't close by, so after they didn't show up for school, someone went to check on them. Their cars were there, but the house was gone, still smoldering. The mom and both girls were found near the front door. They almost made it out. Supposedly, the fire started from the furnace, but that was only a rumor at the time. I think about it often and wish there was a way for me to know what really happened. Anyways, that's my fucked up school story trauma dump. That has haunted me my entire life.
One of our English teacher's son was a defensive lineman for our high school football team. During a practice, I guess, he took a really hard hit and collapsed on the field. I was staying after last bell for some major project, and I will never forget seeing the ambulance and the English teacher pounding on the back of the doors screaming, "Let me see my son," over and over. Kid died at the hospital and really hit everyone so hard. The teacher didn't return until the next year.
Group of girls at my school jumped a teacher outside the school gates and beat her up so badly she was in hospital for weeks. She was a lovely teacher, so no idea why they targeted her, but they'd been harassing and threatening her in class for months leading up to the attack. The teacher never came back and ended up leaving the country.
One of my classmates collapsed on the front lawn of our school junior year and died from heart failure. Soon after, we lost 2 more, one suicide, one accident. Senior year, we had a suicide beginning of the year, super popular kid in my class. All of the deaths were so close together that the CDC classified it as a suicide bubble and sent investigators to our town. Neighboring high school in that same time frame had 5 suicides, all of whom stepped onto train tracks, crossing a nearby intersection.
Girl stabbed in the back by a guy she turned down for a date. She died. He went to a psych hospital, then disappeared after release 1968.
4 girls went on a road trip and died in a horrific car crash. Amanda, you were really nice to me when I was feeling scared and alone. Rest sweetly.
A girl who attended our HS was killed by the son of Sam's serial killer. He was eventually caught when a neighborhood beat cop ticketed his car. R.I.P. Stacy.
During a lunch period while I was in high school, a special needs student choked to death. One real piece of shit filmed it and posted it, making fun of this kid who died. Not only did the school have to deal with the grief of losing a fellow student, but so many people saw it between those who were simply in the cafeteria when it happened and those who inadvertently saw the video online. It was so cruel and disrespectful. Thankfully, the piece of shit who filmed it got expelled and no one ever saw him again.
My senior year, murder-suicide occurred after school when a guy shot his ex-girlfriend and then himself after she dumped him. The fucked up part was that the girl's friends had found out that the ex-boyfriend had brought a gun to campus, and when they tried to warn one of the campus police officers, he just waved them off and accused them of being typical emotional girls.
Dog broke in and ran around the school playground once.
I had a partner in psychology class for my final. To pass on presentation. Told me during one of our study sessions before the final that her younger sister hung herself in her bedroom closet. I was like, wow, I am so sorry. She said nothing back. Get to class the day of our final and she doesn't show up. The teacher tells me outside of the classroom that my partner had passed away. He wouldn't tell me what happened. I was stunned. Later found out from one of her friends that she also had hung herself in the same closet her little sister did the year before.
Principal blew the head off a king brown snake with a shotgun in front of the entire primary school. Then they toured the snake's headless body around each class in a plastic bag so we could hold it. Yes, Australia.
Our school stopped teaching blood types and punt squares because a kid in my grade found out he was adopted. His parents threatened to sue the school. Not that fucked up, just weird.
Someone had a baby in the dorms and then tried to conceal the body.
Every graduating class had a tragic accidental death their senior year for about 10 years straight. Skiing accidents, getting hit by a drunk driver, motorcycle crash, etc. Edit since this comment kinda blew up. One girl and I worked together. One day she was supposed to work the shift after me, and I got pissed because she never showed up and I had to work a double and close. The next day I found out she went hiking and literally fell off a cliff.
We had a mad pooper. There was an unknown boy who would get artistic with his excrement in the boys' room. They ended up taking the external doors off the bathrooms because of this.
Girl got sawed in the locker room by a construction worker doing work in the school. She ran away but had to run across the hallways in her underwear.
A girl in my grade passed away suddenly in her sleep. Her enemy walked up to her best friend the day after and said, "I'm glad that bitch is dead, the world is a better place now," the day after in the library, where the grieving center was set up with the therapy dogs and stuff in front of everyone. The friend grabbed the enemy by her high and smashed her face into the corner of a bookshelf repeatedly until the girl getting slammed just knocked out and couldn't stand anymore. The friend got expelled. The enemy came back to school about a month later with her face all stitched and scarred, and was bullied so badly that she had to move out of public school about 2 weeks later. Never saw her again. Ironically, the enemy girl's name was Sunny.
This happened several years before I even started high school, but a kid got exhausted one day in the pool during gym class, slipped under, and drowned. Nobody noticed him disappearing, and security cameras revealed that the teacher wasn't watching the kids and neglected to do a head count. To make matters worse, that was the last class before lunch, so he was down there for probably about 50 minutes before the next class found him, and by then, it was way too late. During the investigation, the school district had the fucking audacity to argue that it was somehow a suicide, and not a horrible accident that never should have happened had the teacher been more responsible. And that gym teacher, he's still working at the high school. The only lasting consequence is that the freshmen no longer do a swim unit in gym. The lack of accountability is such a slap in the face to the parents, who have my deepest condolences, and I hope their son is resting in peace. Change a few details to make this less identifiable.
At school, teacher was fired for kissing a student. And we found out years later that the actual story was the student, a 15-year-old rugby player built like a house, had followed the teacher, a 5-foot woman in her mid-20s, into a supply closet and forced himself on her. But she still had to be banned from teaching for life.